Chairman of the Board, Lord Weidenfeld, former Prime Minister and Minister of Regional Cooperation, Shimon Peres, David Brodet, the Chairman of the Executive Committee, the Rector, Professor Nahum Fingers, the Deans, our special honorees, Chairman Emeritus Hyman Kreitman, and Ambassador Martin Intig, sheikhs that came here from all over the place to join us in this town. And let me be also specific about the honorees here. We have here James Wolfensohn, the President of the World Bank. We have Robert Arnow, our unique man, former Chairman of the Board. We have Professor Ogata, Sadaka Ogata, the Commissioner for Refugees in the United Nations. We have Professor Yaakov Frenkel, Tzvi Alon, Professor Michael Rabin, and Pedro Dondish, engineer. I want to say a few words because today is a special day. It's a difficult day in the north, but it's also a critical day in the south. Here is our mentor over there in the back, David Ben-Gurion, that is watching us to see if indeed we are ready to launch the Negev project and fulfill its prophecy. These are very difficult times in Israel, in the north, in the east. I believe that with leadership and vision, like we see on this podium, the one of Shimon Peres and Jimmy Wolfensohn, and I'm so glad to have the Finance Minister of the Palestinian Authority, Mr. Nashashibi, here. Welcome to our home. This is a place of the city of Abraham, and you are most welcome to work together for the two nations together. Yes, peace will prevail because these people and others are committed to have peace with compromise, the way Abraham, that sold the 7 sheep for a well, a man of a deal, created the city of Beersheba. But indeed, the key issue today, as we heard from all these distinguished people that have been visiting here, is about commitment, is about values, and it's about leadership. And I think there's one cause in Israel today, a cause that I believe leads to the economic and social transformation of Israel, here in Beersheba, not only for the Jews, but the Jews for the Arabs in Israel, not only for the Israelis, but the Israelis together with our neighbors. One word about Israel. We heard the President of the World Bank this afternoon. Let me be loud and clear. Yes, Israel have high-tech revolution, but it's becoming the most unequal society in the Western world. It's created a northern state and southern state. Yes, Israel has tremendous promise, but it needs the commitment and the experience of people to execute the way Ben-Gurion taught us and his most significant disciple, Shimon Peres, the great leader, taught us. We have a simple program we present the government last year, very simple. This university, the faculty and the students, the supporters from all over the world, that I tell you, you deserve more credit than Israeli governments in the past, because you heard the report of the Controller General. The investment in the Negev was only third from other areas when people decide to give them political priority.
And in the best of tradition of Tzvei Mulchai, that one does not just do life once, but one does it twice, we have 2 very distinguished honorees. The first Lifetime Achievement Award will now be presented. I would like to invite Professor Braverman to come forward with Dr. Robert Arnow. Just stand together. the scroll will read, "We hereby bestow the Lifetime Achievement Award upon Robert H. Arnow in recognition of a sterling supporter whose steadfast dedication and loyalty over the years has invigorated the university, enabling it to pursue research to the highest pinnacle, in deep appreciation of the wholehearted and invaluable efforts of a cherished friend to assist in realizing the vision of Israel's founding father, David Ben-Gurion, who believed in the potential of the Negev, at whose heart the university lies, and in gratitude for the momentous contribution made to the country's future, personified by its students who will stride forth into the 21st century, imbued with an eagerness to seek new horizons, further the boundaries of knowledge, and create a new reality of peace and prosperity." Signed, Lord Weidenfeld of Chelsea, Chairman of the Board of Governors, Professor Avishai Braverman, President, May 23rd, 2000. Dr. Arnow, would you address us at this occasion?
One for almost 19 years of service, but the first 16 more directed to Ben-Gurion University. The last 3 have been dedicated to the Bedouins of the Negev. 3 years ago, you may have heard me make a plea just before the Board of Governors meeting to establish a Bedouin Center for Studies and Development here at the university. The reason for this was that I was exposed to the problems of the Bedouins, and it was manifold. A high birth rate of 5%. The 120,000 living in the Negev now will be 250,000 in 15 years. Half, 60,000, will move to towns starting 25, 30 years ago with no economic plan. As a result, there is unemployment 3 times that of Israel. The crime rate is high, and there are drugs. It'll only get worse before it gets better. Now, what can be done to change that? By the establishment of a Bedouin Center, you open the door to these people who are much in need of education. Oh, they get education in the Bedouin schools, but it's so far below that in Israel, it's really disgraceful. The level of their education is poor because the teachers are poor, the facilities are poor, they're overcrowded. The other 60,000 that live in the villages, they don't get water, they don't get electricity. And some of their students come to this school. 3 years ago, I met 2 of the students for the first time, Bedouin students, who are in education and in psychology. Now, the student body of this university, as you know, is about 15,000. There are 600 Arabs in this university, 250 Bedouins, 95 women, 28 entered the university this year and 24 last year. There are 13 undergraduates at the university, and the 2 women I met 3 years ago are in undergraduate school, one in clinical psychology and one in education. If you realize that in 2 years, 24 and 28, 52 women entered the university, and to make a total of 95, you can see what happened in the last 2 years. By creating this Bedouin Center, you open the door to them. If somebody said to me in a few words, well, how do you describe the Bedouin Center? I would say the word hope. It gives the students, it gives the community an awareness there are people who are concerned for them. We are extending our hand through the university. I'm very proud that President Braverman supported my effort and my request, and the rector did too. I forgot to acknowledge the people on the dais here. Please forgive me. I'm not a great speech maker, so I forget these things. I found my wife in the audience, so I'm very happy. Just one thing in conclusion, Mr. President. I served this 10 years as chairman of the board. When I stepped down and I was given the title of Chairman of the Board Emeritus, and I'm not giving it up until I die. I'm sorry, Mr. Kreitman, you're honorary chairman. I am the Chairman Emeritus. Thank you all.
Thank you, Honorary Chairman Emeritus, Dr. Arnow.